Test 1, 2. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Syracuse. A little chilly out this morning, but boy, we've had some decent weather in this city, haven't we? So today is about being strong. And sometimes we may not feel like we are so strong, so we usually get by with a little help from our friends, right? So we're looking forward to you all standing, and we're going to get by with a little help from our friends. And we're going to be your friends and help you get by.
We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have faith, you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. We just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, then I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Powerful job. That song is so inspirational. It's about our relationships with each other, being there for each other. And this morning, we are here for you, and you are here for us, and we're all here together. So good morning. And welcome to Unity of Syracuse. My name is Sibby Morrow, and I am your platform assistant for today. So welcome, and so glad to see everybody here. And you're bringing your wonderful heartfelt energy into this room, blessing this sanctuary. So let us open today, as we do every Sunday, with the reading of the daily word. So just take a moment to take a breath in, let yourself come present to where you are. Feel that bench underneath you supporting you. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes and hear these words. For today's daily word is guidance. God's wisdom, love, and understanding are written on my heart. God's wisdom, love, and understanding are written on my heart. In the Bible, the prophet Jeremiah shares an inspiring vision describing God's promise to put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts. God's law is spiritual principle, which brings order to the universe and everything in it. It is also God's living, guiding presence in my mind, in my heart, and in my life. Through my prayer and meditation practice, I open to the spiritual law at work in my life. My understanding grows in harmony with this law, and my discernment leads me to make sound decisions in every area of my life. In the silence, I claim the wisdom, love, and understanding that are inherently mine and allow them to guide me. And from Jeremiah 31, I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. God's wisdom, love, and understanding are written in my heart. And so, as I was reflecting on this this morning, I was also thinking about today is Groundhog's Day. And what does these two things have to do with each other? Besides that it's our oldest son's wedding anniversary, but that doesn't enter into this. But I think in essence, the groundhog is this symbol of going outside ourselves to find out something that we want to know. And so that groundhog, I'm telling you, if you lived in Syracuse, he doesn't have to come out of the ground to tell me there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. That's a sure thing. But if we're going outside ourselves to find what it is that we think will satisfy us, it's best to stay within and get focused on that presence within us that is the truth of our guidance system, that GPS within, the God positioning system, that is what guides us. And so if we find ourselves always going outside and seeking to know what the weather report is, if we go inside, we get a true reading on what the weather report is, the weather of our inner being. And that is the most important thing of our lives. And that gives us the guidance we need. So, this is the very first Sunday of the month. And as such, our children stay up here with us today. So welcome to the children. And thank you for blessing our gathering this morning. And as always, the parents are responsible for your children directly after the service. So now is the time that we greet each other. So this morning in our discussion group, Barb, where are you? Barb Lane. Oh, there you are, right in front. She said, I finally got the namaste part. And she, with Bob Clark's help, and she said, so it's like this, namaste. So it's like there's a yay at the end, namaste, you know, and it really is. It's not just a solemn greeting, but it is a joyous greeting as well as we greet each other in the truth of our being. So let's stand, and before we go to read our statement, just turn to each other and do a namaste. Wonderful. So there's a beautiful energy, right? And that's just that's just a beautiful energy right there. So let us now, referring to the slide, we say together our statement of being. God is all. both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one. Perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Thank you all. You may be seated. I just wanted to bring to your attention the slide that is up. There is the 10th, this is the 10th year, the 10th annual World Harmony Day will be held tomorrow evening. And it is at the Temple Adath Yashrun at 450 Kimber Road, Syracuse, New York. If you need to take a picture of that, please do. This will be Unity of Syracuse's celebration team's 7th year in participating with that. And there will be a total of 15 different spiritual communities represented. It's wonderful for children and adults alike. There's somewhere between 400 and 700 people that attend. And really what it's all about is people from different spiritual communities. They may make a skit, they may sing a song, they may do a reading, they may explain a little bit about, what their spiritual beliefs are, but it's really something that if you have a couple of hours tomorrow evening, it's really fantastic, not only from an inspirational standpoint, but these people tell you what they really, in their really hearts, what their spiritual paths are and how they follow them, and just some different cultural practices that they do. This will be the first year that we have the Haudenosaunee chiefs coming to do a dance. We have the Sikhs there, we have the Jewish people, we have the Seventh-day Adventists, we have the Muslims, we have Unity of Syracuse will be actually closing out the show. We try to get people excited about being together. And every year there's a theme. And the theme this year with our world the way it is today is called Growing Together. So I searched and searched and searched for a song that would be appropriate for the growing together, being all different but yet the same. So these are the people, in addition to a few of our other people here and that are not able to be here today. We'll have about 10 people up there from Unity of Syracuse that will be doing this song. And really, we just wanted to end it with, the part about that says, together, 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 we are one. So you can sit and enjoy it. However, the words will be up there for you. So just take a minute and think about what Monday will represent for all of us there, and hopefully for all of you to possibly consider coming. Worked really hard on this song. When I come up with crazy songs, this happens to be one of them. So.
Together, 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 everyone. Together, together, come on, let's have some fun. Together, together, each other every time. Together, together, come on, let's do this right. Here and now, it's time for celebration. I finally figured it out, that all our dreams have no limitations. That's what it's all about. Everyone is special in their own way. We make each other strong. We're not the same, we're different in a good way. Together where we belong. We're all in this together. Once we know that we are, we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this together. And it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams come true. Together, 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 everyone. Together, together, come on, let's have some fun. Together, together, each other every time. Together, together, come on, let's do this right. with one voice. We're gonna rock the house. The party's on, now everybody make some noise. Come on and scream and shout. We're arrived because we stuck together, champions one and all. We're all in this together. Once we know that we are, we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this together. And it shows where we stand, hand in hand, make our dreams come. We're all in this together. When we reach, we can fly. No, inside we can make it. We're all in this together. Once we see there's a chance that we have, and we take it together, 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 everyone. Together, together. Come on, let's have some fun. Together, together, each other every time. Together, together. Come on, let's do this right. Together, 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 everyone. Together, together. Come on, let's have some fun. Together, we're there for each other every time. Together, together. Come on, let's do this right. Together, 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 everyone. Together, together. Come on, let's have some fun. Together, we're there for each other every time. Together, together. Come on, let's do this right.
Hey, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sally. And thank you for continuing that tradition of taking this group to that gathering that's so powerful in this community. We really appreciate all that you give and all that you do. And I just wanted to point out that there were 3 members of the celebration team who are going to be new members. They have stepped up already. Yay. So I have some announcements, and one of the announcements is that the new member class finished this morning, and as far as I know, we have about 8 new members joining us. That is extraordinary. Next week, they will be welcomed as members, and so please make it a real special effort to be here and to get to know them as well. This morning's discussion group, which was the last of the 5 classes required for membership, it was a very powerful class. I was inspired and moved by the sharing that has gone on to see these people and the evolution that they have undergone in 5 weeks and more since they've been here. But it is a really powerful testimony that our principals work in lives. So next week, our 10 a.m. discussion group will continue, and it's open to everybody, and we welcome you. It is a powerful group, and lots of ideas get exchanged, and there's lots of inspiration in that time. So next Sunday we have or not next Sunday, 2 Sundays. February 16th will be our town hall meeting. It was changed. The Interfaith Dialogue dinners, which take place on February 20th, and there's more information downstairs. This is the last day to sign up for that. And again, these are powerful conversations that take place over dinner in someone's home, and you would be assigned to a specific home and receive that information, and then you will be guided through a conversation at dinner. And so these interdialogue discussions are a way of getting to know the spiritual community at large and letting them get to know us as well. So sign up downstairs. Today is the last day that you can sign up. Our unity is Saturday, February 22nd at 2 o'clock. And so if you'd like to come and participate, reservations are necessary. It's a $15 charge. Believe me, you will not go away hungry. It's a 3-course tea with entertainment in the middle. So please either see Sheila or sign up downstairs as well. We also have now, somewhere, do you see these somewhere in the little, oh, they're in the back, okay. They're in a basket in the back. It's a little laminated card, and it says, "Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive." It is our blessing for our donations. And on the back it says, "I contributed electronically." So if you decide to sign up to give electronically on a monthly basis, there are forms in the back that you can fill out, and then your tithe will be automatically deducted each month as your contribution. And then, just so you have something to hold and put into the basket when it goes by, you have that, and then we know that we want something to hold, and so that's really a new thing for us is to create this in response to people's request for that. So also check out the bulletin and to take home that insert with the calendar on it, if there's anything else there, and please recycle the outer section of the bulletin at the back. So it is also the first Sunday of the month, which we do what, Sally? We do birthdays. So here's the deal, okay? So it's happy birthday to you, happy birthday, how does it go? God is blessing you now, God is blessing you now. God is blessing you, you are wonderful. It's like, it comes really quickly. God is blessing you, you are wonderful, like that. It's a little bit scrunched at the end. So would you stand if you have a February birthday? Tom, Natalie, Dana, Betty, all right. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. You are wonderful. God is blessing you now. Great. And being the first Sunday of the month, then we have the Youth and Family Ministry to introduce the power of the month. Do we have someone coming up with you, Ken? Freya? Come on, Crash. So as you know, in Unity, there is a power of the month, there is a color of the month, there's a disciple of the month, and there's a location in the body. So Ken, representing our Youth and Family Ministry.
I resemble that. So I'm a kid at heart. We didn't have any volunteers today, and that's okay. So the power of the month is strength, and that's what I'll be talking on in a few moments. The disciple is Andrew. We'll be mentioning him as well. The color is light green. That didn't make it into my talk, so remember that. And the location is the small of the back, and that's really important. We'll talk about that too.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. All right. And there are those little cards that you can take home as well to remind you of the power of the month. So now I would like to welcome any guests that we have with us today. So we have a packet of information and a gift for you that is a candle. So attached to that packet is a yellow slip that if it gets filled out and taken down to the bookstore, you get an additional gift, and it gives us some information so that we can stay in touch. So if you are a first-time visitor, would you please raise your hand, let us know who you are. There is one at the back. Welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. And our usher will come over with a packet. And So after service, please come downstairs and join us for fellowship, and so that we can get to know you a little bit and receive your additional gift downstairs. Thank you. And now we have our unity principles. So these are what we've been studying in that class and on Sunday mornings, the 5 unity tenets, the principles. And so this is the time that one or two of us get to share how one of these principles has worked in our lives over the past week or so. So is there anyone who would like to share? Barb.
Good morning. Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it would be, we must live these spiritual principles. A couple weeks ago, I was coming out of the bank, and I witnessed a little altercation between a man and a woman standing by a pickup truck. And, you know, your first tendency when you see things like that is to not get involved and to, you know, it'll be okay. So my husband and I got in the car, and we started to drive away. And I got such a strong GPS in my heart to say, no, you need to go and see what's going on. So I convinced my husband to stop the car and to, you know, ask the woman, are you okay? And she said no, and she was crying. And I said, just get in the car, and I'm going to take you someplace safe. And so we ended up taking her to her mom's house. But anyways, you know, I shared the story with some of my colleagues, and they were like, are you crazy? It could have been a setup. You could have been hurt. You know, it could have been all. And I just, you know, I sat with it for a while, but then I realized I listened to that inner voice, and I just realized you have to trust. You have to trust that you are, you know, when a voice so strong is telling you to do something, you know, you need to listen. And so I think I'm trying very hard this year to put into practice these principles, and that was kind of a test for me, I think. But anyways, so.
Thank you, Barb. A powerful testimony of trusting your guidance system.
Morning. Is this
Morning.
on? A number of these principles is represented, but also particularly number 5, but 4, the Martin Luther King celebration. It was very intense. It was a wonderful experience, and thank you, Sally, for organizing it. And I understand the largest group represented was from Unity, and I feel that because we have these basic principles, you know, so many were there, but it was, you know, even though each of us can get something from it, it also contributed to that collective group who, you know, just to be up there and part of a number of people and demonstrating how much you care and want to be part of a bigger thing for a great cause, and honoring Martin Luther King. So thank you for the opportunity.
Opportunities to show up as the light that you are abound. So just be open and receptive, and you will be guided to where your light can shine best. Thank you for sharing. So now is the portion of our service in which we bring forth the prayer box. Natalie will be doing that in a minute. Will the prayer chaplain serving after service this morning please stand to be acknowledged? Ann and Ken. Thank you. So every Sunday from 10:45 to 10:55 before the service, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you one-on-one, and after the service again. At this time, we bless all the prayer intentions that have been put in our box and that you hold in your heart. If you haven't had a chance to write one on a piece of paper, You can do that afterwards, or you can just trust. Spirit already knows before you ask. Unity was founded on prayer. For 130 years, Silent Unity has been praying 24/7. So prayer intentions are held here for 30 days before being sent on to Unity for 30 days. And so they are prayed over continuously for 60 days. So let us open our hearts, and we can open our hands to receive and pray up.
So as we take a nice deep breath in, we breathe in and we exhale, we release. As we breathe in that divine love that is always present, and we breathe out that divine love that is always within us. This is the sacred space we pray from. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the many blessings in our lives. Thank you for the challenges and the opportunities for us to open our hearts and step into who we are. When we ask, we are already receiving, and as we open our hearts and ask, it's in that receiving that we are blessed beyond measure. And for this and for so much more, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Ken is our speaker this morning, and Ken, as you know, is the, Director, okay, of Youth and Family Ministry. And I just want to say how he has really, I think, blossomed in this position. And we are so blessed by you, and we look forward to your wonderful speaking this morning as well. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Sibby. Is this thing on, as they say? There we go. And I think, oh, look at that. So the lapel mic didn't work today, but it looks like we do have PowerPoint. We're going to talk about strength today. It is the power of the month. And I'll figure out how to use this clicker really quick. Maybe. Maybe not. There's only so many buttons here that I can push. Okay. So, that font type looks great up there. So what's this all about? And the funny thing is, if you can read it, it basically, by the time you get to the bottom, it says, why are you reading this and not paying attention to what I'm saying? But what is this all about? Why do we focus on these different powers every month? What is strength, and why do we care? I've got a few things. I'm going to get some of the drier stuff out at the beginning, right? But for those of you who have a mind to be able to absorb some stuff, here's a quote from Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, and this comes from the 12 Powers book. Evolution is the result of the development of ideas in mind. So evolution, we're not talking about Darwin's evolution, we're talking about our evolution. We're talking about the evolution of our spirit, the evolution of our lives here. He's saying that it's the result of the development of ideas in mind. What we are is the result of the evolution of our consciousness. And that consciousness is the result of seed ideas sown in our mind. Seed ideas sown in our mind. So what is this all about? What we're doing here today is we are sowing new seeds in our mind so that we can come to a better understanding of who we really are, and so that we can grow. So we're sowing seeds, and we are also we're nourishing what's growing from those seeds in our mind, because a lot of us have heard maybe most of what I'm going to say today already. And so that seed's already been planted, and it's growing. And so we're nourishing it, and we're tending it. We want to make sure that it's going to give us good fruit. And something else we're going to talk about today, which maybe we don't hear a lot about, is that we also have to do some weeding. We have to get rid of some things that are going to be in our way of growing the fruit that we want. If we don't do the weeding, if we don't get that stuff out of the way, we're going to find that we're just really spinning our wheels and we're not getting the kind of traction that we would like to receive. So I'm going to paraphrase Eric Butterworth here. This is from a book that we, I think, still have in the bookstore downstairs, Practical Metaphysics, A New Insight and Truth. We did a class based upon this book not that long ago. Oh, can we advance the slide? The mic didn't work. I don't know why I thought this was going to. So, yeah, can we advance it again? There we go. Repeatable Christ. So, Eric Butterworth says, practical metaphysics deals with what I call repeatable Christ. If Jesus demonstrated the law is demonstrable. Therefore, it can be done at any time by anyone who is in that consciousness. That's huge, right? So, like, if it was done, then it can be done again. And all we need to do is be in that consciousness. I think that may be that's the trick there, right? What is that consciousness? And which consciousness are we talking about? We're talking about what we call Christ consciousness. And how do we get there? Again, this is what we're talking about. When we focus on strength this month and faith last month, all of these aspects all come together to help us evolve our consciousness. We plant the seeds of ideas in our mind, we tend them over time, and what we get is a shift in consciousness. That shift in consciousness is what this is all about. As we shift our consciousness, we change our reality. We change our experience of ultimate reality. Ultimate reality isn't changing. God is ever present. The truth is already there. What we have control over is our ability to shift our consciousness so that we can see the good in every moment. I like that guy, Repeatable Christ. So that's, can we go to the next slide? So that's why we're here today. This is out of order with my cards. Can we go another slide, please? There we go. Came for the coffee, stayed for the fellowship. So that's why we're here today, for the free coffee, and to talk about strength. Strength as one aspect of our consciousness, and in evolving that, we evolve ourselves. And we're moving towards that perfect self. We're moving towards demonstrating in this world as Jesus demonstrated. Jesus being our way shower, we are walking in his footsteps. Charles Fillmore and Myrtle and so many others within the New Thought movement have laid out a plan for us. Part of our plan involves the 12 powers and our 5 principles. And so today I'm going to try and bring that together so that we kind of have a cohesive look at what strength is and how it fits into our 5 principles and the 12 powers. Next slide, please. So our first principle says that God is everywhere, present, and all good. What we're going to be, as we said earlier, Andrew is the disciple of strength. Last month was the month of faith. It starts the year, and we start building our church inside with faith. Faith is that bedrock, but faith and strength have to grow together. And Simon Peter was the disciple from last month, and Andrew was the disciple from this month. They were brothers. And so they grew up together. And when we marry those two, when we bring those two together as brothers in our mind, powerful transformations happen. Something else I want to say about these first two principles. Next slide, please. So the first one tells us that God is everywhere present. And the second one tells us that we are individualized expressions of God, individualized expressions, that we are manifesting. Our consciousness is a manifestation of God consciousness. Each one of us here is expressing as an individualized expression of the oneness. Butterworth says, an eachness in the allness. A little wordy, but if you wrap your head around it, that each of us is an eachness in the allness. We are one part of this many-headed, many-faceted thing that we call God. And so these first two principles, they orient us. They let us know where we are. The first one tells us that we're in this thing we call God, and that it's everywhere, and that it's all good. The second one tells us that we're not just a part of it like the chair is, but we're individualized expressions of the creative force that is actually manifesting everything. And these are two really good reasons to be happy. These are two really good reasons to have faith. So that first principle, that God is everywhere, that relates directly to faith. I have faith that God is everywhere. I have faith that God is all good. And this second principle, it relates to strength. Because when I recognize that I am an individualized expression of that oneness, when I recognize that Christ consciousness is within me, that anchors me in that truth. It gives me strength. It gives me unlimited strength. Because my strength is, and I recognize that my strength is flowing from an unlimited source of strength. Next slide, please. The next principle, I think, the Buddha said in the Dhammapada, all experience is preceded by mind, led by mind, made by mind. And it goes on more than that. But that's huge. And this is an important topic for us to always keep in our minds, that the mind of God preceded everything. That it is the source of everything. Some folks would have us believe that matter came first, and then somehow mind came out of matter. And that simply that's not the truth. It's not our truth. Mind of God. Everything is rooted in the mind of God. Everything that we experience is an idea of God. And as it flows from source into this world, our consciousness dictates how we perceive it. And so we have something pure flowing into this world, and if my consciousness is not aligned with it, I can perceive it very differently. You get that? Our experience, all experience, is preceded by mind. Before you have the experience, something happens in your mind. It's led by mind. Your mind is showing you the way to understand what's happening in reality. Made by mind. Your mind is creating your reality. We are co-creators with Spirit. And so how does strength come into play here? When we are, next slide, please. These next three really align with some interesting Buddhist principles, and I love when there's overlaps between cultures. I think, I pray, and then the next slide, please, is I do, right? So thought, word, and deed. In Japanese, in some Japanese circles, they refer to this as the Sanmitsu, the three secrets. Because if you know these three secrets, you can effectuate any change in the world that you want. If you align your thoughts, your words, and your deeds, you can effectuate whatever change in the world you want. And now we temper that by saying, But we want it all rooted in God consciousness. We want to direct it all with Christ consciousness. This isn't about thinking, saying, and doing the things so that we can, become a millionaire and, have 5 wives, live in a mansion, and, ridiculously, a lifetime supply of chocolate, right? It's not what this is about, right? It's not to say that we couldn't do that, but what we would end up with would probably not be really what we wanted. And so we want to stay focused in allowing our Christ consciousness, that highest part of us, to direct our strength, to direct our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. And so, how does strength play into this? When I'm thinking thoughts, there's only about 10%. If you could picture an iceberg, 10% of our thoughts we're aware of. They're conscious thoughts. And about 90% of our thoughts are unconscious, subconscious. So it's really important that we spend time in meditation and in prayer directing our conscious thoughts, because we're trying to steer a very large iceberg with a very small amount of awareness. But the good news is, as we meditate and as we focus and as we learn to develop a deeper focus, we are able to expand that 10%. We become aware of more and more thoughts over time. And the thoughts that we hold in mind, we know, produce after their kind. If we're not actively doing our best on that with that conscious 10%, then we can't be guaranteed of the results of what's going to come out of that 90%. And so even when we're trying to do our best, how long can I hold a good thought? How long? So strength allows me, as I develop strength, it allows me to hold those thoughts longer and longer. And what about I pray? When we're talking about prayer, my personal belief is that there's many ways that we can pray, but the most powerful is when we do it out loud, when we're speaking. So I'm thinking thoughts that I need to hold in my mind, the kind of thoughts that I know are for my highest good, and then I'm pronouncing those into the world, giving them even more strength. And then I do something. It's not enough to just say I want change, but I stand up and I turn off the alarm clock because it's time to get up. So the strength plays into each of these. If I'm trying to hold a thought, how long can I hold it? The stronger I am, the longer I can hold it. If I'm trying to say the right things, strength comes into play, because God knows we all sometimes want to say the wrong thing. So how long can we hold our tongue? How aware can we be when we might want to edit before we just spit something out and say something that's going to hurt ourselves or someone else? So strength comes into play there as well. And then the things that we do, strength comes into play there as well. Because we want to do the right things, but what are the right things? And in order for us to truly know what the right thing is, we have to remember our second principle, that we have the Christ within us, that we are an individualized expression of God. So strength is required for us to remember that, not as we're sitting here, but when we're out in the world, when we're challenged with something, when we've got an angry person screaming at us, who are we then? And that inner strength, that infinite strength allows us to be who we are choosing now to be, even then. Next slide, please. So Andrew, which Charles Fillmore says in Greek means strong man, Andrew symbolizes the strength, while Simon Peter symbolizes the faith capacity of the mind. I'm taking this from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. It's really good for looking up names that you might find in the Bible and applying metaphysical meanings to them. So this is the metaphysical meaning of Andrew. And Charles writes, when strength finds faith, and they are brothers consciously in the mind,
a bond of unity is established that carries one along, even though one may encounter the most adverse experiences. And from the Revealing Word, strength, the Revealing Word is a book that gives us, similar to the Metaphysical Dictionary, it gives us more common words. So I was able to look up strength in the Revealing Word, and it says that strength is the energy of God, freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. I need some of that personally. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. And we're gonna get into that in a moment, a little more with some more depth. All strength originates in spirit. This is important. The strength that we have, even the strength to lift a heavy box, that strength ultimately is flowing from spirit. Remember, we said all things are created in mind. All things are created in the mind of God first. And so this strength, this idea of strength, is flowing from God. All strength originates in spirit. The thought and the word, spiritually expressed, being the manifestation. So when we are strong, we think right thoughts, thoughts that lead us to our highest good. When we are strong in spirit, we say right words, words that lead us down the path of positive transformation of consciousness. Next slide, please. So how do we develop strength? This is the question, right? And of course, in Unity, we love to use affirmations, denials and affirmations. So can I get everybody to say this with me? I am strong as a mountain. I'm strong as a mountain. Okay. Now, I'm going to pick on us a little bit. Who are you trying to convince? I wasn't convinced. Are you convincing yourself? Or are you convincing me? Sometimes when we do affirmations, we might start at like this pinnacle kind of affirmation, but where we are is in a very different place. Have you ever felt like maybe you're not oh, by the way, that is does anybody know what mountain that is? That's Mount St. Helens. So I thought that was kind of funny, right? Because strong as a mountain, maybe that wasn't the best title for the talk, right? So have you ever felt like you're at the bottom of the mountain looking up, right? Have you ever felt like the mountain's crumbling down on you and you're about to be buried by the mountain? I've been there. I spent this past week wasting strength, and we're going to get to wasting strength in just a minute. So the affirmations are important, but we have to start with affirmations of where we are. Baby steps. We need affirmation. We have to diagnose where we're at first. And I would argue that all of us, at any point in time, we could be at a point of victim consciousness, where that mountain is falling down on us, all the way up to verity consciousness, where we have these moments of nothing can stop us, and we feel all empowered, and we know we're doing the right thing, and it's effortless. And there's a whole spectrum in there of strength. And I think that I don't think that we're ever just on like this, okay, I'm out of victim consciousness, and all right, I'm going to move up now. I'm in victor consciousness, right? So now I'm winning, and other people are losing, right? And we're going, okay, check that one off. Now I've moved up the ladder to verity consciousness, right? It's not like that. It's not like you get the merit badge and you're done. I think that every trial in life pushes us back down sometimes. Sometimes we have amazing successes, and sometimes we're just thrust back down. And sometimes we are very strong around some people, and yet other people seem to weaken us. So we have to pick and choose. And the affirmation that we're using may not always be the same. And I want you to know that if you feel like you're on the bottom of the mountain, the top of the mountain is literally just a breath away. Because it is literally just a change in consciousness. And by simply taking a breath, we can shift our consciousness. So there's a book that I know we have down in the bookstore called Your God-Given Potential, Unfolding the 12 Spiritual Powers. I use that quite extensively for this part of the presentation. I refer to it a lot. I recommend it. It's a great book. This book has a process for each of the 12 powers. And I'm going to really briefly go over over this process and some really important things that I got out of reading this book. Right now, I'd like everybody to do me a favor. We're going to play a little game. I want and if you have any health conditions, you don't need to play. So please, nobody pass out on me. But if you want to play, I want you to raise your hand, and I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to hold your breath as long as you can. And when you can no longer hold your breath, I want you to put your hand down. We're going to see who has the best lungs in here. You ready? Okay? And go. Please don't pass out. Wow, you guys. Everybody swims underwater. Come on. You guys got to start putting your hands down soon, right? It's almost 12 o'clock. Wow. And stubborn people, too. Boy. There we go. Some of you's got to be cheating. Look around. If you're drowning, these are the people that you want with you. We've got some big lungs. A few people holding their breath really long. Okay, you can let it out now. So we've all just experienced this, and what I want to take that moment and now switch it into something a little deeper. So you all just held your breath, and that was a display of physical strength. Can you hold a thought in your mind as long as you just held your breath? Can you hold your breath longer than you can hold a thought in your mind? A thought is much lighter, right? A thought doesn't really take that much energy. This came to me last night as I was finalizing this, and I think it's important because we all have had moments where we've practiced holding our breath, swimming underwater, various reasons, maybe trying to get our way with our parents, right? Whatever the holding of the breath exercise was, we went through an exercise, we did it over and over again, and we got better at it. If we are not taking time every day, at least 5 minutes, if we're not taking time every day to meditate, to try and hold a thought, to try and expand our ability to hold a thought in our mind, you should be able to hold a thought in your mind at least as long as you can hold your breath. Now, in a busy world, it might not seem practical to walk around holding a thought, but you need to hold a thought long enough so that it moves just below consciousness, so that it stays there. And this is a part of how we develop strength. But when we hold our breath, there's a tension. We're holding something back. When we want to develop strength, it needs to be without tension. When we are going to develop strength, it needs to be easy. It needs to feel free. We need to be relaxed. All of our God-given powers, they come to us most easily when we are relaxed. And so taking time to relax every day, especially if we're stressed, is a huge part of developing our strength But even bigger than that, can we, next slide? So strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. Next slide, please. So the biggest we're going to have to do if we want to develop strength as individuals and as a community is to stop wasting strength. And I think we are all guilty of wasting strength at some point. If we misuse our strength, it causes a feeling of depletion and weakness. What do you mean? How do I misuse the strength that I'm getting from God? A misuse of strength would be emotional outbursts of anger, despair, or frustration. Next slide, please. I don't remember what the next slide is. Okay. We can hold on here. So if we're getting bent out of shape over the news, if we are quarreling with our significant other, if we're trying to convince somebody that our way is the best way, these moments where there's tension between us and another person, where there's tension internally between us and a fear that may never come true, right? Has anybody ever worried in here? When we worry, we are wasting strength. We can do all the meditation and we're going to do one in a minute, and we can do all the affirmations, and we can be doing everything else to develop our strength. But if we are running the heater full blast with the windows open, it's not going to get any warmer. So if we're continually just bleeding out strength, how can we expect to manifest more strength? So this holding our breath, this idea that I want to be able to hold my thoughts as long as I can hold my breath, working towards that as a goal, what kind of thoughts do I want to hold? I want to hold in my mind that I am a child of God. I want to hold in my mind that I don't need to be right. I want to hold in my mind that I don't need to resist. I can be who I am. It doesn't mean that I need to be stepped on, but I cannot resist. If someone's coming at me with an aggressive motion, even from a physical standpoint, some of the most powerful martial arts techniques they take no energy at all. You're simply using the energy of the other person, right? And if you constantly do that, then guess what? You don't get tired. You conserve your strength. So if someone is trying to convince you that, something political that you're opposed to, don't oppose it. Just let it be. Their opinion doesn't impact your truth, right? And I think there's a lot of this going around. If the news is making you angry, turn it off. Or detach yourself from it in such a way so that you can be informed, but you don't need to be committed to the impossible situations that we have no control over. Right? Lord, grant me who knows the Serenity Prayer? Right? Yeah, the courage to change the things I can, right? And the strength to change the things that I can. But to know when it's something that we can't lift. If it's something you can't lift and you try to lift it, you're wasting strength and you're going to hurt yourself. And the same goes for the mind. So this is an actual affirmation that I would like us all to do. Nothing has any power to make me resistant or resentful. I am as strong as a mountain. We say that together? Nothing has any power to make me resistant or resentful. I am strong as a mountain. This is the kind of thing that we want to be able to hold in our mind so that it's there when we are pushed up against something that we might ordinarily resist, when we're pushed up against something that we might ordinarily resent. It doesn't have the power to change my consciousness. It doesn't have the power to shift me into a place that I don't want to be in, because my goal is to keep shifting and shifting closer and closer to that verity, to that place where I and cosmic consciousness are one. And every time I resist, I'm moving further and further down the scale. I should have did that backwards, but that's okay. You get the picture, right? That was for all of our Japanese readers. So I always think that I never have enough cards. So non-resistance, this first step. So if you pick that book up, there's 7 steps. And the first one is non-resistance. And so we want to practice this non-resistance. And in order to do that, we need to be able to hold these thoughts in our mind. So we have to have a daily practice. Oh, daily practice? I don't have 5 minutes a day. What, are you kidding me? But really, let's think about that. Because maybe the reason we don't have 5 minutes a day is just to wake up in the morning and spend 5 minutes in a room with the door closed and nobody bothering you. That's impossible in my house. But there's time. There's a time where you can get at least 5 minutes. And if you think that you can't, then why? I would challenge you to say that maybe you're worrying that there's not enough time in the day for 5 minutes to practice this. And so that worry is, well, guess what? You just wasted the amount of strength that it would have taken to do that work. So 5 minutes a day it's going to pay you back dividends just to sit 5 minutes and count your breaths. All you need to do is breathe in, breathe out, count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2. Go up to 10, and when you get to 10, start at 1 again. And watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts. If they drift away from the counting, because that's all you're supposed to be doing, it's okay. Gently pull yourself back to the counting. If you forget where you are, God knows I've been somewhere between 5 and 10, and I forgot what I was, not just what number I was on, forgot what I was doing because I got so pulled away. It's okay. That is the exercise. We do curls with barbells, and we get big biceps. We do this exercise, and we get stronger ability to hold attention, to hold thoughts longer. It increases our ability to read, right? Who's ever tried to read something and found themselves rereading the same paragraph 5 times until they finally settled down, right? So this kind of exercise helps with that kind of concentration. It's completely important for our spiritual development, though, because if we can't hold the thoughts in our mind, we all agree that thoughts are what's dictating our reality. If I don't have the ability to hold the thought that I want, then what's happening? The moment I let that go, that 90% that's filled with all kinds of messages that I am not interested in hearing. Messages from my stepfather, who was not always the most loving person. Messages from my mother, who has come a long way. I love you, Mom. Messages from myself that I probably never should have told myself. Right? But these messages are all still there. We can verbally deny that they have any power over us, and that's important too. But we have to stop wasting strength. And this non-resistance is a big way. Yeah, we're over. And so I want to say something really quick about anger, fear, arguments, and worry. These are all what I would call secondary events of the mind. In order to feel angry, there is an event, but then anger doesn't come because of an event. Anger comes because of a judgment of an event. So let's say that I'm in the shower and Dharma flushes the toilet. Right? This was a common theme I talked about in the past, but roles were reversed. But let's say that I'm in the shower and Dharma flushes the toilet. Oh, I got burned. That sucks, right? But if my judgment is, she did that on purpose. She wanted to burn me. Now, suddenly, I'm angry. It's the judgment that leads to anger, not the event. It's always the judgment. So as we let go of judgments of other people, of ourselves, we will find that we are triggered a lot less. And as we are triggered less, we will waste less strength. Think about that and do a little self-analysis. The next time you get angry, try and think about, what is it really that I'm angry about? Is it the fact that somebody just, dented my fender in the parking lot? Or is there something deeper? There's a judgment there. There's a judgment about yourself. Oh, now my insurance is going to go up, and I don't have the money, right? So it's a judgment about lack. So there's a string. There's always a string that you can lead back, and you'll find, I think, if you're honest with it, I think you're going to find that for every emotion that you have, there's a judgment. So if we can release those judgments, that's going to go a long way to keeping the windows shut when we have the heater on. Support groups in the area, women's support groups, men's support groups. I just got hooked up with a Mankind Project support group that I didn't realize we had in the area, and I'm thrilled that there's already a men's group in the area organized by Mankind Project. It's fantastic. So we got to practice holding the thought in the middle of it. Step 2 is relaxation. There's 7 steps. We're going to stop at step 2. We're going to do a quick meditation. But I want to say about step 2. So the first thing is we're going to stop. There we go. Yeah, relax. So we have to take the time in our busy day to take some time out, especially when we're working on big projects. If we don't learn to relax, again, we're wasting strength. And the goal here is ultimately to play and work in a relaxed state. If we're feeling tension, it's harder to do everything. So relaxation is really, really important. Next slide, please. Okay. And then the next step is this infilling. It's called infilling. So once we get rid of the judgments, once we get rid of the wasting of the strength, once we learn to relax, these are both practices that are going to take some time. This is stuff that we have to remind ourselves. When you find yourself tense, tell yourself, it's okay, relax. It's okay to talk to your body. I do it all the time. It's like, relax shoulders. Everybody, just let your shoulders drop. Right? You can tell yourself to do these things. Just relax. We do a meditation now. And we're going to go through a meditation now that is the next step. And this next step is about the infilling of strength energy directly from source in through our lower back. And this is most effective when we've already really had some time with those first 2 steps, non-resistance and relaxing. But right now I'd like you, if you can, if you're willing to close your eyes, do that. And if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, then you can just focus on one spot and kind of let your eyes unfocus. Take a deep breath in with me. And exhale. And take another deep breath in. And as we exhale, let all those judgments about yourself, about other people, let them fade away. Take another deep breath in and really let this one go and just relax into your seat. Let the tension that you might feel in any part of your body just melt away. Feel the bench seat under you, fully supporting you. And the back of that bench, relax into that. And if your feet can touch the floor, let them firmly touch the floor. Feel fully supported by this bench, the back, your feet. Imagine in your mind's eye a brilliant light growing at the top of your head. This light signifies your Christ consciousness. It is a symbol of your highest self, Imagine it there at the crown of your head, brilliantly shining. And as you take the next deep breath in, visualize that light descending slowly through your body down towards your heart space. As it moves, it's a healing wave of pleasure and relaxation. Relax into this feeling of joy and aliveness as this light fills the center of your body. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe in, feel that light, see that light descending further down through the golden bowl of your belly, down to the small of your back. And imagine this light has shifted colors into a beautiful light green, and it fills your entire lower back. And as you breathe now, feel the strength of God, the energy of God being breathed into your lower back. Imagine a plant that needs a little water, and as it is fed, it stands tall. And feel this. Maybe you'll want to shift your body to be a little taller. You feel the energy flowing in. It's making you stronger. You are taller. You are stronger. We give thanks for this strength, this inflow of source strength. Thank you for this strength. And as we breathe in again and exhale, this light moves back up into our heart space. And we breathe it there and feel its cool, healing energy filling our entire being. And this re-energized strength, we allow it to drift effortlessly back up to the crown, the seat of our Christ consciousness. We breathe in, we breathe out, we give thanks. And on your next breath, come back to the room and open your eyes.
I can almost see it, the dream I'm dreaming. There's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no directions. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high. There's gonna be another mountains, I'm gonna want to make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, it's about what's getting on the other side. It's the climb, struggles I'm facing, chances I'm taking, sometimes might wear me down. No, I'm not breaking. I may not know it. These are the moments I'm gonna remember most, yeah. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep on pushing on. There's gonna be another mountains I'm gonna want to make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. It's the climb. It's the climb.
And I think maybe a couple more slides to get to the end. Our strength is a spiritual mountain. So not just a mountain, but a spiritual mountain. I kind of switched that up. Next slide. And this is just a recap to think about the things that we use strength for and how important strength is. And to remember that we combine strength with our faith. And thank you. You notice there's a coffee theme here.
My goodness, there's so much there, so much. All right, so much to digest and think about and put into practice. So now we come to the time of our service. We receive our gifts, tithes, and love offerings. So as you bring them forth and hold them in your hands, let us say together our affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source. Thank you very much for bringing it forth, and thank everyone for these tithes, gifts, and love offerings. So would you open your hands and open your hearts as we bless these together? We give thanks for the abundance of God's good in our lives and in and through this ministry. We give thanks for these gifts, but much more for each giver, for we know that the truth of our being is through giving of ourselves, of the truth of our being, to love, to be the light in the world. And we say thank you for these gifts and these givers. Amen. And we do not have to welcome our children. They're already here. We will bless them. So we bless our children wherever they are and see them surrounded